So login, you get into this place is something you will have to read up in the manual I'll send to you. And I want to show you how most important interfaces in this software for Catfish Farm Business. And the first one is the pond feed record sheet, alright? And I'll do in another video the pond management record sheet. So let's go to the pond feed record sheet. Click the button on the main menu. Okay. Now the first, okay, let's just not have to see the coding interface there. Let's get rid of that quickly. Okay. Right. So the first place you get to is this is the ready to print copy of the daily feed record, the pond daily feed record sheet, and there are two buttons here: print preview excluding tips, print preview with tips. These are the tips on how to make entries into it. This format was obtained from one of the best practice documents I downloaded from the web. I have links to that I provide to everybody who gets a copy of this application. So you can print this if you want to print with tips. Why would you want to print with tips? Then you want that to be what would be used as instructions by your operatives, used to explain to them. Right? The way this form works, you will make entries of the amount of feed fed to the fish in each pond on a daily basis for the entire week. So there's Monday, there's Tuesday, there's Wednesday. So for each day you make entry, we record a handwritten entry in terms of the kilograms of feed you fed to the fish, and then in the next column for that day you would indicate what the degree of what the feeding response of the fish was. Okay, you just give it's a bit subjective, but that's generally with training people learn to get an estimate on a scale of about 4 different levels of how responsive the birds were and the fish were. All right, so I will explain that as I go along. So there's different labels that are used to explain how or indicate how responsive the birds and the fish were. All right, I keep saying birds because I'm so used to the poultry people. All right, so let's go back to the main menu. So if you want to print it, just click with tips. This is what it, so you send it to the printer, and then when you give it to your operatives, they can study that. You can use that for training to teach them how to fill in the forms. Then when you want to give them the forms to use, of course, then you click print preview excluding tips, and that would actually get the form printed for you, available for you to print without all those tips on it. Okay, so then you make photocopies of that and give to your staff to go ahead and use on taking records from every pond that they post and put feed in. All right, now when you're now going to go ahead now and post entries. When they return the forms to you, you click this button and post data entries from paper. All right, this is now the data entry interface in the application for information you post that's posted into the daily feed record sheet. All right, so how do you make entries into it? This is the first column here. Now in the form, the person would have indicated the date, because this is a form that's used to capture data from Monday till Sunday, so it's for an entire week. So you just click here and choose, because this application is a monthly application, it will show you the dates for the entire month. So you choose whatever month you want, and the application has been configured such that it will indicate week number. This is useful when you want to generate the weekly summaries. Okay, so okay, right now the next column there, the feed sheet, that is relevant to the the numbering that you're given. You will decide on the numbering system. You put that value in here, just type it in here, whatever the value is. All right, then the pond name, pond number, whatever the label or identification and method you're using is, you type that in here. Then the type of feed, you will indicate that there, and then this is the amount of feed. All right, total amount of feed. Now in this column here, you will put in the amount of feed, that's the total amount of feed meant to be fed, to be given to the fish each day. All right, so then we'll see what quantity, because you know the number of fish that are there, you've estimated what they're supposed to be able to consume. So then you see what is administered on a daily basis by the time you do a difference between the start and the end quantities in your bags of feed. All right, so this is the Monday. This person says he posted he fed them with 20 kilograms of feed, and the response to feeding was excellent, because you can see the scale here. E is for excellent, G is for good, F is for fair, P is for poor. I have just added value by including a rating score. I felt it made more sense. We're using a computerized system now from paper-based system that these best practice people gave us. What I did was to sit down and think up a rating score, a way to do a scoring to rate the feeding response, and therefore allow the computer to generate something that we can actually plot in graphs, which is what we now have in this application. All right. So the operative indicates whether it was excellent, good, puts the amount of feed for each day, indicates what the feeding response was using the label. But the computer goes a step further and converts the feeding response into values using a weighted average. And so what I call it the cumulative feeding response rate. All right. So that's what I've done. So what you have here is 3.1, for which is actually a weighted average of the G's and the F's and the E's to give you an average for the week. So kind of something that helps you. So first of all, the application on a daily basis, actually you see the summaries report. It also converts them into numbers. All right. So you're able to plot the feeding response in terms of values and see what the trend is like. And then at the end of the week, it still gets an average, which can then compare. You can say you want to compare the weekly averages. So for 1 week, you compare the average with the other week and see how the feeding response has been over time. It's always better to compare trends, to kind of study trends, as against just looking at isolated values, because they don't really tell you the full picture. It's always a trend when you're dealing with what you call a batch production system, which is what commercial fish production is about. All right, then you have a column for observations and all of that. You type that in. So basically, you put in your values and the computer does its entries. So if I were to just do some dummy entries here now, I just come here and say 19. All right, and then I say maybe it's a G for good, feeding response. You notice in the right column there, under cumulative response is already computing. It's doing its averages. Okay, all right. So, but it's doing a weighted average, not just a direct average. All right. So then I say maybe 18.5. All right. I say we'll have a G as well. Good. I say maybe 21. Okay, 21. I say we'll have an E. All right. Maybe I say 17. Maybe didn't feed well. If you say 17. All right. So we say I have maybe. How do I put this now? Okay, maybe let's just say we had an F. Sorry, we had a P. So the problem on that day. And let's see. This one, yeah, maybe let's make it 19. And then this one, make it 19. That would be fair, right? F. And then let's say 20. Go back up a bit. You say it's good. That kind of thing's closer or consistent with what you want to feed them. And let's say this is 19 again. We say it's just fair. All right. You watch the averages on the right, the cumulative response. See, because I think we had that poor. You can see how the average cumulative response for the week. So generally, it was fair for the week. So the application also uses the cumulative response, the average you were able to get for the feeding response, and still categorizes it in terms of whether it was good, it was excellent, and all of that. You don't have to do that. The computer automatically does that. You just post in your entries. Get your staff to understand how to use the labels of feeding response rating, and then the application will do its own scoring. So you can imagine what this can do for you if it's done properly, and if the team is trained to know how to give the proper description of behavior of the fish, and also to feed the fish the right amounts of food. You can actually use this to get a good indication of how the ponds are performing. So you might be able to compare one pond with another pond. There's so many possibilities here. But let's go and take a look at the summary. So when you're done with this, just click a button here. Okay, maybe let me take you back. Let you see something. We have dates there, right? So if you take a look at what I have is 26th of May, 2nd of May, 2nd of January, and all of that. If I go here and I pick 6th of May, this allows you to kind of narrow down to days, particular days that you want to see values for. All right. So you can see it allows you just filter out all the other periods and narrow down to a particular period you want to see. This is a very useful feature. You can also do week numbers. If I do show all, you can also filter according to week numbers. You choose a particular week and it will just narrow down to that week, and you can actually print that out. So that's another bit of useful. It's because your purpose here is to use this application to do what is called data analysis for decision making. All right, you want to see your data and want to look at the holistic picture of what your performance of your fish is like, and then use the information you get to get an understanding or assessment of how well they're doing, and then take a decision or plan for further management. All right, so let's go to the summary report. This is the summary report. You don't post any entries here. Based on the entries you've made, it generates this report. All right, take a look at it. You can see what it's done. It's done the average. You can see it's brought in the values. All right, now for you to really get a feel for what I'm talking about, look at the graph at the bottom. That's been automatically plotted. Okay, take a look at it. Okay, take a look at that. That's the chart that's automatically generated. Now I don't want to spend more time but the idea is that this chart enables you to look at 1 week and compare with the other week on a daily basis. You can see that. Okay, so you look at the performance in terms of feeding response, and you can actually get a feel for how they're doing graphically. The same thing applies to the feeding on the right. You can actually see it, another column bar that allows you to compare 1 week after the other. So as you add more data week after week, you're able to compare all through the rest of the month on one screen, on what you call one page size report format. You're able to do this. And if you want to print, okay, go back, sorry, let's go to the summaries and let's do print preview. You can actually just send it to the printer. It's all ready to go. It's just for you to choose what you want to see, and that is what will be generated for you, and you can actually just send it to the printer and have it in your hands. And you can also convert it to PDFs as well, you know, if you have a PDF application on your system. All right, so this is just to give you an idea of how you're supposed to post entries into daily feed record sheet. I've also deliberately touched on how I came up with the thinking about putting in the rating scale for you to understand what the rating scale is supposed to do for you as a business owner, as a farm business owner, running a fish farm operation. You want to get an understanding of what your data means. You don't just keep data for the sake of data or just put it in. It's not just financial data. This is operational data, and it can tell you a lot of things that can help you anticipate what your financial data will look like. All right, so I'll do a separate recording for the one pond management record sheet. Cheers.